but I got foggy mornings to wake me up. This Ben and I have been on a journey together. No, I'm not kidding. We really have. Like, this is above my lifting limits. I think some of you thought I was kidding when I said I have the ultimate epic review to show you guys, because I was surprised. It's really hard to surprise me, but I was surprised. So wait, I was told I need drum rolls. That was pretty good, right? I think so. This is the debut unit. Wait, the ultimate family unit study from Ticket to Learning. So stick around with me. I'll walk you all inside. There's quite a bit. Get a drink and a snack. Foggy mornings are where I begin. Conversations I can never win, but it's not a competition. Though if it was, I'm losing. Welcome back, friends. If you're brand new to my channel, my name is Arlene with Arlene & Company. Today, as I stated before, this is a debut unit study. It is not yet available, but I'm going to break down all the nitty-gritties, all the housekeeping and all that stuff for you. So stick around. Don't worry, I got you. But this is the debut unit study from Ticket to Learning, and I'm going to tell you all about them. I'm going to tell you all about the things, so stick with me. Don't get scared. I know there's a lot of stuff, but don't get scared. It's really cool. And I brought supplies. You grab the supplies. Okay, if you did not grab a snack, I meant it. We're going to go through a lot of stuff, and it's going to be marvelous, and you're going to need some notes. Okay, get a notepad, get a pen. Let's go. Oh, wait. Are you back yet? All right, yes, we had the Dora the Explorer moment. I received this in exchange for my honest review, and I went ahead and partnered with Laura from Ticket to Learning. I've known her across the Instagram universe for quite some time, and I've admired her work, especially as she shared a lot of stuff of being a librarian, fellow educator, formal classroom educator and tutor as well. She has a lot of knowledge under her belt, and I always appreciated her content. So when she contacted me about partnering with her with this review and offering my feedback as well, I just could not say no. So I know I do very little the general reviews anymore, and I only kind of just show you what we're using, and I used to share like all the things before, and there's a lot of reasons for that, but this time I was just like, let's do it. So thank you so much to Ticket to Learning for sponsoring today's video. My opinions are always my own, and they're always gonna be honest. So I'm going to tell you all the things of who I feel this would be great for, a lot of the highlights, the things that you can look forward to, some potential drawbacks, things that you should be aware of, and the timeline of when is this available, Arlene? We're going to get to it. All right, let's get a drink. Let's switch the camera around because you don't want to see my face anymore, do you? I don't think so. Okay, first off, let's get some housekeeping out of the way. I will have some timestamps link below, or you can look at the little dashes, but the timestamps for the purposes of this video is I urge you not to jump around, because then you're going to miss some valuable information, and we want to make sure no one's misquoted or you don't get anything wrong. So the reason for the timestamps is if you want to rehash something again and just like view a certain section over again for whatever reason, then you can easily find it. But please don't jump around, because there is a lot of different elements and stuff that I want to go over with you, and I want to make sure that you don't miss a thing. All right, so first, let's get to this. Ticket to Learning. You want to make sure that you're following her over on her Instagram page, so you can keep up to date for any release dates, when things are happening, when the boxes are going to be available, when the PDF is going to be available, when the next installment of units is going to be available, and all that jazz, and and some other goodness. She does also have a YouTube channel here. It's not as active nowadays because obviously she has been busy. Well, actually it's like family, I think, but she's been busy, or they've been busy. But there is so many nuggets as a former librarian. I mean, she has the stuff. All right, so let's get to this. This particular unit is target for grades 3 to 5. I will say there's honestly wiggle room with that, and I'll explain and break it down, but that is my personal opinion. The first one that is going to be coming out is tailored for grades 3 to 5. I would say there's room either way for lower and higher beyond that, and I'll show you why I feel the way that this is formatted, how they're releasing these unit studies. There's going to be a pre-K through 2nd grade, I believe, and that is going to be based out of a picture book study, and then the 3 to 5, which is what I have here, and then there's going to be middle school. I believe believe, and don't quote me on this because obviously things can change, middle school unit is the next to come out, okay? So these are in the beta testing format. They're not in its final form, meaning that there are still some edits here and there that are meant to happen, and that is, you know, with the editor and such. And so obviously things can be tweaked from this video that I am showing you, but this is going to give you all the nitty-gritties and everything you need to know. So at first, I will tell you that this was presented to me, or what I believe was a literature study. That's not it, friends. Yes, it's literature based, and it is definitely based off a book, but to call this a literature study is just not it. It is not. There is so much built into this. That let's break it down. All right, first off, there's also going to be a ticket to learning box, and this activity box is going to have around 4 to 6 different activities, plus this book actually came in here, plus the book and other components. I'm going to show you everything that's inside this box. Again, things can be tweaked. There's recipes, there's hands-on activities and all that stuff. So this is meant to be like basically can go with your adventure guide, which is your full unit study that's in here, or you can purchase this by itself. Maybe you're not a homeschooler, or maybe you just want some extra activity and fun and you don't need the whole entire curricula and all that jazz, and you just want the activity box. Now this activity box is pretty it's hefty. There's a lot in there, and it's meant to, like, you know, spread out a little bit longer than what you see other literature box have, and I'll show you why in just a bit. So you can purchase this maybe if you're after schooling or whatever, or just as an extra fun activity, or for your family. And this one box has enough activities for like 2 students. I'm not sure at this point if they're going to offer like additional add-ons if you have a bigger family or not, but a lot of the activities I think you can do as a group, I feel like, and you tell me how you feel about that once I show you inside. So we have the activity box that comes with 4 to 6 different activities, plus the literature all contained. And now if you've got the adventure guide in the PDF or printed format, then you will have your supplies for several of the activities that are listed here in this box. So you would have like a kind of a ready to go format to, hey, it's in the box if you have the box already. So that is one element. Deal. This is your friend, this is your adventure guide. There's also a language guide, and that language guide is going to have more of the technical, more academic type of practice as well. There is a lot of choices in here. Let's start with the adventure guide because I think it gives more, I feel like it will make more sense if we start here versus the box. All right, but if you want to see it in a reverse format, go ahead and skip and then come back. All right, so this first unit study is based off of this book, Light Comes to Shadow Mountain. I had never like even heard about before she started showing it, so I was pretty excited about this. Because I never heard about it, and as a book nerd, you instantly get excited when there's something that you've never seen before. Just, you know, tidbits. She wants to be a reporter and all that stuff, and you're going to dig into also the Great Depression and all that. So I'm going to show you how it ties into all that as well, but also know that there is, with the activity box, it's going to include a letter from the adventure guide. Ignore this for a bit. The letter was for me, so I will open the one that comes in the box, but I just wanted to point out the beautiful attention to detail little thing in this unit. It's just, you know, it's meant to like attract and wow, but then there's substance. So I just wanted to show you that because it's so pretty, right? Anyways, these are some of the books that are suggested to expand your learning within this unit study. So she went ahead and sent me all Build It Yourself Electricity, Nellie, and Investigative Journalism for Kids. I'm so stoked about this because I went to school initially communication and broadcasting arts. I went to a magnet program for that all the way from 6th grade all the way through high school, and then that was also my major. I got a degree in graphic design, but I was also an English journalism major before nursing school. So I am so stoked about this element of it. So that is one of the books that is suggested. And then here, The Great Depression for Kids, another really nice resource, and I'm going to show you inside later on. Explore the light and optics with 25 great projects. There is so many different options of how to expand this learning and to keep it going way beyond after you finish this book. And I will explain why that element is important in just a sec. And then the Great Depression, experience in the 1930s from Dust Bowl to the New Deal, Inquiry and Investigate. Again, these are also different literature books that I have not seen. I've seen one of them that, well, similar line, but I had not seen some of these things. So I'm pretty stoked about it. My kiddos were like grabbing side right now. We're not going to focus on that just yet. And this is your adventure guide. Now, this is the only portion of the printable. So this is a PDF format curricula that will be offered in both print or digital. Everything else is available as a PDF. All right. So obviously, except for the box, but this particular, the adventure guide, will be available as either or. Cost wise, I don't have that information as of right now. I do have a ballpark, but I'm kind of hesitant to share the ballpark figure because things can change, you know, especially at this stage. And this is projected to come out late spring. All right. So, but if you message me, then I can give you like a ballpark, but I don't want to just put that information out there because this video, you know, is here forever and ever. And I don't want things to get confusing for anyone that's seen this like a year down the road. All right, so here, I love the little take of how like, hello, my name is AG, which is adventure guide, and then the other one has language guide. I just kind of like love the personification part of it, so it's really cool. Going to be consumables, and let me show you those things. Now, don't get scared. I know I'm showing you all this stuff printed. A lot of stuff can also, like, you know, the adventure guides can be used digitally and stuff. You do not have to print everything. For my purposes as a reviewer, I do request materials that I'm going to review be sent to me in printed format. So that's why you're seeing these big hunk of stuff here, and I'm just keeping some of these things on here because it also reminds me of like little cue of what everything is. So this is the consumables that resources that come with the adventure guide. So here is like your worksheets, interactive activities, and things like that will be in here, and you can just print as many as you need for it. Obviously teaching this family style. You do not have to teach family style, but it lends itself very easily that way. So this it has like cards, it has even social emotional learning and things like that. We're gonna get into this as well in just a bit. So I can show you like the different elements and activities that you have to choose from. So this is again the printable consumable components from the adventure guide. So but here is going to indicate to you what is required. So in order to do the study, and it's up to you how long you really stretch this out to. It's not going to say day one, do this, day two, do that, because there is multiple choices for you. So what is required to complete just this is the book, like Comes to Shadow Mountain, and the consumable worksheets that I just showed you. All right, so then everything else becomes optional. All right, so obviously you need internet access and stuff like that. You will find the QR codes, and I actually went in all different places and randomly scanned a lot of QR codes to make sure that they were readable and let you where they're supposed to and all that jazz. But also they have on their website a curriculum link page that you will have access to. So if anything is updated, which what happens, and it happens with like a lot of curricula where we offer links and stuff like that, is that some links will go private, or it will go dead, or it will be rerouted to something else. So what their plan with that is that that page is going to be updated with any links that have been broken or anything like that. So you'll be able to see that. So even if your QR code is outdated for whatever reason, you will have that page to lean on. Now, one of my other concerns was this is a lot of stuff, right? This is a lot of options. Beautiful, is gorgeous, but somebody like myself that has ADHD and stuff like that, this may be sensory overload. What I want to pass on to you guys is that the page, your account is going to be set up in a way that your links are going to be easily viewed per lesson and everything together. So you're going to be able to click from a click of a button and be able to see everything nicely organized, and it will help you versus like, you know, me getting a big box of everything printed for me. So you can see it in chunk pieces and be able to digest it better. So the way that I am showing you this is not going to be the overwhelming factor you may get it, that you will receive it at, because everything is going to be nicely outlined for you on the account. So now here is the recommended resources. Like I said, the first one is, and it tells you what age each one is geared for. So which is great, especially for family style. If you are trying to decide which ones to borrow, purchase, or whatever it may be, then you can look at these individual age ranges and determine that. Now, these little icons, and we're gonna go over what these means, but these are connected to whatever subject that is leaning towards. Now, one of my main questions was, will every unit study touch on every subject? And it's basically, the focus is gonna depend on the literature, but it's going to go cross-curricular for sure. All right, so the way that this is built out is that it's going to touch basically like mostly all your subjects, and then you're going to have math. Now, math, you got to add your own math, obviously, but there is some applied math, which is like real life math as well, that is included with this particular unit. So explore the light and optics and 25 great projects. It has a really lovely timeline here as well, which I appreciate. I'm just gonna give you a quick glance at this, because if we spend too much time on the books, we're gonna be here all day. So we don't want to do that. So the next book that's recommended is for ages 8 to 12, and this is Electricity and the Circuit, Static, and Electromagnets. And this one, again, I think this is the one that my son was like really attracted to, or maybe this one was the one that my daughter was, but this is one as well, and there's a lot of activities and things like that within them. Then the next one is the one I told you I was super excited about, and this has also 21 activities. You remember the history ones and stuff like that? It kind of just reminds me of those as well. But this one as well has different activities and resources in history and everything like that tied in. And for example, choose a pen name. That's like the activity for that. Send a letter to your future self and all that jazz. So this is a really cool one. Next one is the Great Depression for Kids, Hardship and Hope in 1930s America, with 21 activities as well. And it has that same similar format and activities within it. But don't worry, you're going to be prompted for activities in the guide as well. All right, so that is the Great Depression for Kids, and that one's tailored for grades 9 and up. Again, this is tailored for grades 3 to 5, but as you can see, some of the books and contents, you already can tell that you can stretch this on for 6th grade, maybe even 7th. All right, the Great Depression, this is the last one that is highly recommended as well. And this one, I think it was the one that my daughter was really into as well. And then this one has QR codes as well. So the way that this is set up with the additional literature, you're gonna have a lot to dig in and follow a rabbit hole long after you're done with the actual fictional story. So this is going to take you for as long as you need to. I know that some of the beta families that have been applying it and actually doing it, what I was told was anywhere from 1 to 3 months, depending on how much you were doing with it. But again, like, I don't know how many of you have gone down the rabbit hole of ancient Egypt. I think every homeschooler I know that tried to do ancient Egypt for anything less than a month, it did not work, because your kiddos could stay there forever, right? So this is type of unit study where you can be able to have, the goal is, obviously they're going to keep coming out with several units that you can use throughout the year, and the way that this is stretched out is that you can probably complete 4 to 5, I would say safely 4 to 5 units a year to cover your family learning. You have planning symbols here, and each of these symbols are going to indicate something to you, so it keeps it nice and like your eyes go directly to that, to know quickly as you plan. Now, if all these options overwhelm you, know that the first 2 pages of the lesson are meant as your open and go. You don't even need to look beyond that if you do not want to. Your first 2 pages is going to give you what you need, and you can go off from there. Now, after that, you're going to have options to expand your learning. But if you're not interested in all that, those first 2 pages that are provided for you are going to be able to get you on your way with short prep time. All right, you guys know I do not believe in that anything is open and go. Even if you say this is open and go on this part or whatever, I don't prescribe to that. I think everything you need to read over that at least the night before, the morning of or whatever, and do a little bit of prep. That's just my very strong personal feeling on that. So here, for example, this is your timer, and this gives you an indication of how long an activity may take if you're short on time, or if you have a lot of time and you want to fill a certain gap. This is the worksheet symbol that tells you, that symbol that you can go ahead the worksheet from your consumables. Now this is going to be set up in that site, like I said, under each lesson. So you are going to be able to see, you know, divided by lessons and not have to go through a big giant thing like a mega bundle. It's not that. All right. So everything is going to be sorted accordingly. This symbol shows that you can go ahead and use your timeline, whatever you're doing. If you're doing a book a century, if you're using one of the School Nest notebook, or if you're just doing it in here, that can prompt you to add it to the timeline. Here's activities with computer icon is for research opportunity and such. And here, this means that it's in your activity box. So if you happen to add the activity box to your bundle, then it will be in here. So if you see that symbol, you can even make sure to pick the activity that has a box, because you already have the supplies, right? This icon, and I'll go ahead and just read this one to you so it's not confusing. Sometimes themes or topics are introduced in a chapter in a read aloud, but have accompanying activities in another lesson. And the coming up with a symbol lets you know where to find those activities if you want to explore those themes and topics earlier than scheduled. So that icon gives you that, you know, it's coming up, but you want to do it that week, then you can go ahead and search for that. Here are the subject symbols that I talked about. So you're going to be covering arts and crafts, arts and culture, and I love how that distinction has been made there. Culinary arts, you guys know we're all about that. Current events, history, applied mathematics, which we talked about. Social emotional learning, which we talked about. I thought that was an awesome incorporation in there. Nature and outdoor education, science, writing and language arts, and teacher resources and answer keys. Now, you do not need to do absolutely everything. Know that off the back. I know that it may seem like, oh my gosh, this is way too much. Is this going to be like a standalone or a supplement? That is up to you. You can definitely do this as a standalone and then add specific areas that your child may need additional assistance. Let's say the writing instruction is not in a way that your child can progress well, then you may add a supplement to that to have additional writing practice that's broken down in a different way. Or maybe that is an area that is easily taught in this way and your child can consume it with no issues. Then you use this as is and then add your full mathematics. It depends on what your goals are and what type of homeschooler you are, right? So if you are planning to do this as a supplement, then you're only going to select a few activities as you go through it, and maybe treat it a little bit more like a literature guide versus a whole entire family unit study. But I'm going to present this to you as a whole entire family unit study, and know that you can pick and choose throughout and not do as much, or, you know, they're not meant for you to do everything. So again, this is going to break down how this unit is organized. Remember, I said the first 2 pages are going to indicate you they're open and go. Again, yes, it's set up really nicely for you to open and go. I feel like you need to prep. If anything, this seasoned homeschooler can tell you, and I know everybody's way different. It's totally fine. It's totally fine. Don't come at me. Just read it over the night before. Read over yourself. You'll thank me later. Just read it over, okay? But it is meant for it to be open and go. I just have my feels about open and go. All right, so then here, and I always have my fellow friends that comment on that because they know like you're coming for us. Read it, watch it, do it, and then lesson links. You have map it, things to note, things to consider. So comprehension type of questions and critical thinking questions and such like that that requires deeper thinking and stuff like that. What does it mean? And vocabulary, and which we have some vocabulary card games here. And just let me quickly, as we talk about stuff, I want to just show it to you so it makes more sense. So there is like some word games that is included in here. So there's different ways that, you know, follow the clues, that they're going to explore vocabulary that is not just your typical list, open and dry, this is what it means, and like let's fill in the blank and stuff like that. You are going to have things that resemble that, but not as, you know, not just that, right? And this is just a few examples. This is not all. There are certain things I say, okay, I don't need every single sheet printed. So this is one of them. So this is just an example, but these have like the game card as well. And then you'll have all those instructions of how to go about them with that. So this is the vocabulary word card game that you will see on here as well. This is the Appalachian Dictionary. All these front pages is the stuff that I highly recommend that you take your time with. Don't I would really suggest once if this is something that it's for you and you decide to grab it, don't just jump to lesson 1. Really take the time to read over how this is organized, how it's meant to be, or how you can rework it to work for your individual family, and really just like take some time like I did. I took a lot of time to break this down and to understand and make sure that I was going to be able to explain it to you guys in a way that makes sense. All right, so here you're going to have areas where it's going to say explore more, and that is all either you're treating this as your sole curricula or as your standalone with all the nitty gritties, and you want to add more robust study to it and add additional elements. This is going to give you that. If your child is someone that's advanced, gifted, or whatever, and you want to challenge them, it's going to give you opportunities for that as well. All right, so you have that coming up section, which will look a little bit deeper as we get to it. Then you have the math, which is kind of more of the applied math, and then it's going to break different tips for instructions in math and such. But know that this is not meant to be your sole math. Okay, so and depending on if you have a younger child tagging along, maybe that's enough for them. But know that you're going to want some other strict math program, right? All right, so then you go into like, okay, now all into your first section. So here's your lesson 1. There's going to be samples that you can go ahead and download and try with your family. So that's great. So let's break it down. These are the first 2 pages that you're going to see. Remember what I said, this is their minimal prep or open and go, as I'd like to put it. So I always suggest to screen videos before you watch them, even if the creator has screened them for you, just to want to make sure it is good for your family. And if any discussion points arise, you will be prepared for that. So the first section is going to say read it. So beginning in lesson 2, you will be reading The Light Comes to Shadow. So you're not even starting to read the actual book unless you want to until the next lesson. So that points you to that. Now you're going to open this lesson by watching this video, which I did watch, and I love that it starts with that visual element. That really works for us. That's something that I know that a lot of visual learners will love, instead of just like, okay, let's go straight into reading the book and let's go into jotting down these things. When something is introduced with a video element, I think it has like a nice different connection to it. So I really appreciated that it started there. Now again, everybody's different. So here, do it. So discover Appalachia. Light Comes to Shadow Mountain is set in the heart of Appalachia, specifically Eastern Kentucky, and then it's going to give you that information there, and then you're going to have ability to go ahead and research it on maps, draw it, things, whatever you might do. So as you read through, you will have many opportunities to learn more about the mountain life as you get to know Cora and her family and so on. So living without electricity, try to set an amount of time with no electricity. What are some of the hardest things not to have? What are some of the easiest? What do you notice the most? So there gets some like their brain going and thinking, and then again you have the opportunity to go ahead and start mapping it. And again, you are going to see those little symbols right here that tells you that you are going to have that. And this let's see right here, this is some of the maps that are available right here. So here it indicates lesson 1, and our story takes place in the continent of North America, in the country of the United States of America. Do you see the star showing where to zoom in? I love that. I like, the way that it's presents it. And then here is like zooming in, and then it has another prompting question. And again, this is still lesson 1, that you don't have to do every single little element, but here it will tell you, like for lesson 1, you're going to locate these areas. Lesson 2 here. So again, that little icon tells you that there is a worksheet connected to it. And then when you look at this, and again, this is going to be connected to your account. So it's all sorted by lessons instead of, having a whole bunch of paper. But if you're somebody that needs everything printed like I do ahead of time, then you can organize it nicely like that way per lesson as well. Maybe in an accordion binder stuff. I think my idea would be for that. Again, this is still lesson 1, additional activities. And I just wanted to show you kind of just an idea of here. You have for lesson 2, just for compare and contrast. And this is for lesson 2, who is my hero, and this is like a writing prompt for that. I'm just giving you just a little bit of idea. And then this is just the worksheets, you know, not all like the instructional elements. And this, you can see it is also by multiple levels. So here, as you can see, this is more to get them to expand their writing, draw and paste a picture, things like that. So you can have multiple different things to look at depending on your child's ability or where they're at. You can see that. So here, example, this is also lesson 2 things I admire about my hero and things like that. So it's just different activities that you're going to see throughout, and I just wanted to give you a little bit of a mixture of that. And this is where it ties in. So these are an instructions, so none of us are just one adjective of description. We're all made up of many. And the Bakura refers to her selfish bones or Sela's creative bones. And then you see this right here, so they get to expand on that. But then, you know, you have different levels of complexity. And this is the worksheet that comes with it. You can add the language guide that gets a little bit more technical, and I'll show you that afterwards. Then here, for example, this is some grammar practice as well. And then you have the answer keys. And I mean, like I said, I can be here all day showing you the variety of different things. This is the letter to the librarian type of thing. And so it's just showing you the different directions and things that will be available to you. For here, for example, career development tracking. All these worksheets are going to explore so many different avenues and give you a really nice mixture of things. This is for lesson 3, creating an advertisement. So I just wanted to give you a nice little idea that it's not the same thing every single week, that you're going to have a varied amount of different things to explore and to adjust depending on where your learner is at. And maybe they're in a different place from week to week. Maybe one week they're able to write or do more than the other, and so on. So you want to go ahead and adjust as need be. All right, so that is that. We went over those vocabulary cards already that I showed you. Things to consider, these critical thinking type of think deeper type of questions are going to be there. And now you're going to the area where it says, okay, let's explore more. So here, for example, and this is where you would find the little icons that tells you an approximate amount of time that this activity can take. So you can judge by those little time icons how much you can add or how much you have to place for. So for example, this little symbol right here, and you can go back to your intro cheat sheet page, and you can actually put this like in a binder outside here so it's easier for you to see. And at first on that icon that we saw, it was history, arts and culture. So you can see that those activities, not every single subject is going to be explored every single time, obviously. So it's going to be a mixture. So you're going to see these, and then again, you're going to have some hyperlinks throughout of what you need, or you can just go to the curriculum link, which is going to be divided into that, so you can just choose as you need be. And if you use Google Classroom, you can go ahead and plot those links into your Google Classroom and already have them set out for you that way if you want. Now, here is a few of the activities. For example, a short history of Central Appalachia. This article gives a great overview of the history of Appalachian Kentucky. So this one says, take turns sharing with what family member thinks is the most important event during each time period, and back and forth. Appalachian dialect. Here you can see this is a worksheet connected. So not only does it give you, this one says multi-day. So this is going to go over a stretch information center. It's going to have these little asterisk right here for something that is highly recommended, and then other things that are maybe added to it. Now, again, these are things that you do not have to do. If you decide, I'm going to stop here, and then here you also right here it says keep an eye out here for new herbs to learn about in Cora's Mom, and that's going to be in this box, right? If you choose to get the box. Anyway, so you have that. So here is going to break down additional reading materials and studies. Now you're going to see how this unit study can expand way beyond that simple, beyond that book. I showed you the highly recommended additional resource books that you're going to be able to dig into and do several activities and such with that. But then also each of these lessons are going to have additional stuff too. Like here, for example, so if you're having some younger kiddos tagging along, or even older kiddos that still appreciate picture book setting, right? So chapter and middle grade books that are suggested, then adult books with Appalachia, and then movies and TV shows as well. So that is for for that information center. So again, and now you go into your next week. All right. So you have the lesson links QR code that you're going to see. And again, you're going to have read it, which is going to indicate which chapter you should be on if you're using their pacing guide. Maybe you want to explore this book a little bit faster and read ahead so you have time to dig in more into the other additional resources. You could definitely do that. So even though if you finish this book, the assignments are not going to have been tied in, that you have to be on the same pacing guide. So I think that's very important to indicate. Now, if there's a certain assignment that you need to refer back to a certain chapter, you'll be able to see exactly where to find that, because again, it will say chapter 1, chapter 2, whatever it may be. And then you can open back your book into that area if you need to reference it again, or your student needs to reference it again. Other than that, you can read this at whatever pace meets your needs.
A note from the editing room. I do not recommend that you fall behind in the reading, as the lessons are connected to the current chapter that you're in, so you will have a lot of spoilers if you go that route. Now, I do recommend reading ahead if that is the pace that you wish to do.
And then continue on with the additional studies and rabbit trails with the other literature and resources that is suggested for you in the guide. Again, here, consider what does it mean and so on. And then here, explore more and see how this lesson has different subjects that are being explored. So here's a mini unit, how to draw biplanes, introductions to similes, and to illustrate passage, the science of a harvest moon, full moon viewing, a harvest moon story. So it's tied into what's happening in the story, and then expanding from there. Again, you have all these different activities, and then the little icon that you know that you can go ahead and grab one of your consumable pages. Development tracker is the one that I showed you before, so I wanted to give you a nice little idea with that. This is the Appalachian Dictionary that it comes with as well. We also have, and this is still going through final edits and stuff, but this, and my daughter played around with this, is kind of like not in the same order anymore. This is Nocturnal Animals, and you will see how everything ties in as you read the story. But this is another cool little touch. You see, like, literally, if it could be thought of, it was thought of, right? Every connection has been made with this book. Like, everything that you think that you can go down a rabbit trail has been done for you and provided for you. So here, these QR codes will take you to more about that particular animal or video or something like that. It will be connected with that. So that was something here as well that was included. Obviously, I cannot show you all the literature and everything that was recommended with all those different sites. So obviously that's proprietary, but I wanted to give you an idea with these. And then you continue on. There is, and I will give you an idea. The appendix. I'm going to give you a little bit of an idea. This is how to create mini units with additional resources. So you saw all those other books and you're wondering, okay, how do I tie this all in? In the appendix is going to have additional ideas and things like that to give you different ways to stem this book through and to discuss further and to have, expand this on and on. A lesson plan, and you can have like a blank one that, if you just kind of is filled out for you here with this particular title, and then so on for the other highly recommended ones as well. So that is part in given to you here of the breakdown that you can have these other additional studies tied in with the book. So here, for example, you see the next book and this, the next one. They're all here with a lesson plan connected to it. So now you have also a master book list. Again, this is proprietary. I cannot show you all the things, but I will tell you what is in here. You're gonna have the book descriptions that is taken from like the publisher or Amazon and such, and you're gonna have master book list, picture books, early chapter books, graphic novels, middle grade, reference, anthologies, YA, adult, and movies. So if you want to learn along with your child, or you just want, because you're a history buff like I am, and you want to pick specific books that ties in with what you're teaching your kiddos, there's going to be suggestions for you. Let's say you have a much older child and they're not doing any of the family learning things, but they want to have some kind of connection with it. They can pick up a YA title and read along with while you're doing this study. There is so much that was thought about, and I know I sound like crazy right now, but I am just so impressed that all this went into it, right? Onto a single unit. So again, I'm just going to show you a very quick little peek, but there is going to be tons and tons, middle grade, adult, YA, reference, all the things, friends, all the things. Now, one of the things that was the feedback they got, and I already had it as a note until I hit it afterwards. I already had it as a note to like choose your own adventure and choose your own journey. They really wanted to, you know, give you the ability or not make you feel like you have to follow their schedule or routine. But some families did feel like this would be helpful. So they are adding a sample schedule to the curricula. And I think it's very much something that I think is appreciated and needed, because in the line of work that I do, I find that this is a lot of the feedback that's universal, that even if it's something that you choose your own adventure, that they want to see a sample schedule. Some people's mind just work that way. So that is something that is laid out for you. So here you will see language, art, spelling, handwriting, grammar, mechanics, assigned independent reading, vocabulary, writing, and then the social studies. You have the social emotional history, culinary arts and culture, current events, hands-on, the science component, nature, math, hands-on, and all that stuff. And it's all like has a sample schedule given to you that you can go ahead and follow or adjust as needed. So I do think that, and this is obviously not how it's going to look. This is a rough draft, but I think that was a very smart move to go ahead. So the next thing that, it does not come with the adventure guide or the consumables, but is something that you can add in, is the language guide. Now the language guide is going to have more of the technical aspects and things like that to it. And I'm going to show you that. It's going to do the same thing. Hello, my name is, just so you, have that little, I don't know, I think clickable links as well. So this is not going to be available for you to purchase printed. Is only going to be a PDF file. The only thing that is going to be available printed, if you so choose, is the adventure guide, and also in the consumables, obviously it's going to be the PDF, and obviously your box is going to be hard copy. All right, so here in this language guide is going to have, you can download it per week, per lesson, or things like that, and just look at it that way. And then you can add these additional elements to your week to just like add more, rigor and stuff to it. So you have introduction, reading comprehension, vocabulary, word work, adjective pages, copy cover, handwriting pages, independence, and then blank worksheets as well. So this is the components that is going to say, like, here is the word games that I showed you before, that comes with this component. Obviously you do need the book to still do this, internet basics and such. And then it recommends that you add the adventure guide. So obviously you can choose to just do this component and not do the other one. I don't know. I wouldn't, my personal take, I would just I would do the adventure guide. There's so much in there. That would not be the one that I would skip. Okay. So this is really, if you are, for me, if this is, she's providing additional tools for you, that if you want to treat this not as a supplement, but as a standalone, that you have a lot of meat in here that you can go ahead and incorporate for your student, and then just add areas that they need a different approach or whatever in, or support or practice as need be. All right, so you have these two things that you can, that comes with what we already went over. And then here, choose your own adventures. So you have reading comprehension pages, you have vocabulary worksheet A and B, you have different options, you have word work, grammar, spelling, handwriting, copy work. The copy work and handwriting comes in print and in multiple levels and cursive as well. We'll show you a little bit of that. Choose your adventure, check in for meaning. Day 2, look for spelling rules. Day 3, pay attention to grammar and punctuation. Day 4, copy work. Day 5, dictation, which is an optional component. So that is how that suggested schedule. You don't have to follow it as that, but that is provided for you. Again, it starts with that same format. Here's your ticket as you go on. Now, I don't have absolutely everything in here. This is just to give you an example, but here you have how it's broken. Reading comprehension sheets here, and then, for example, what did Cora really want to do but wasn't sure her mother would approve of? Who was Ida and what happened to her? And these are depending on what level your kiddo is going to need. Have the answer keys for each section. So that was my main question, because the way that this was sent to me was was like, here's reading comprehension, here's the answer key, here's a grammar, here's the answer key. I was like, that will drive me absolutely insane. And they're like, no, this is going to be arranged like all lesson 1, all lesson 2, and all that stuff in that way. So don't get scared at this thing, because that was my first thing. I was like, I can't handle that. I can't do that. Some people can, but I can't. But it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine because it's going to be arranged differently for you. And then you can see a view everything under that lesson. All right, so here, for example, is a vocabulary where I talked about, like, you know, you had all these different creative ways to dig into the vocabulary. However, let's say loving kid, then this is going to be provided for them, that they can look at it in that aspect. Include more information. Again, this is still like in the editing phases and stuff like that, but here is some word work. There's also going to be QR code that goes along with this, and these video to me are important, right? So when I looked at this, and if it's something that is not your strength, I like that they went ahead and added QR codes sometimes as instructional videos or whatever, that will help support you as the teacher and your student to see it in a different way. So you're not just like, okay, I'm reading this, but it's still not making sense to my kiddo. Then you have watch it, read this. This activity was cool for me. So, you know, describe the picture, and this is a way that they're practicing adjective and stuff. So I thought that was a fun way, especially with the younger kiddos. And then here is actually encouraging them to, you know, expand their vocabulary. So like boring adjectives and stuff, don't use these or something. And I know other programs we use, we call them the banned words, and they weren't allowed to use certain words in their, you know, in their paper and stuff like that. And here they call them boring words, you know, whatever, but you know, you can change that up however you like. Then you have the answer key. Here you have, and this kind of almost reminds me a few workbooks that we used to do when we were younger, when they were younger, and says look and say, copy, cover and write, and check if right. So this is like, you know, they folded over the answer and stuff, and they can do this on their own because there's like copy, you know, first they copy it, then they cover it because it folds over and stuff like that. And if you've never done that before, it actually works pretty the multiple levels here. So here you can trace right over, easy to see. Then you can have the cursive format, and then you can have where it's not tracing, then you can copy it straight. You can copy it into the line right here. You can copy as cursive guide. I showed you the language guide. I showed you the consumable, some examples of the consumable pages that you can see. And now I'm going to show you what comes in the activity box. So we're almost there, friends. We're almost there. So this is the activity box, Ticket to Learning. Again, there may be some tweaks of how this looks afterwards. I love, all right, you guys know how I feel about it. I love it. So this is a letter that your child receives. So this is Dear Reading Families. Thanks for reading my newest book. And this is from the author. So this is a letter from the author, which I think is super cool. I love that element. And then they get this part. Again, these all can be purchased individually. If you do not, you want just the activity box, you can go ahead and do that. I think the activity box is going to be, if you're on a budget, it's going to be the most costly item. And then the adventure guide is, you know, the projected price that they have for that, I think is super, super fair and affordable. This one is going to be, I'll be interested and see how why they do, but when you look at everything inside, you can tell cost may be a factor, so you know, just keep up to date with that. So here has first class adventure departure day, so you guys can, like, if you do multiple of these units, your kiddos can keep these, so that's pretty cool, and collect them. And it had like a vinyl, it feels like it's vinyl decal on there. And that was all like in here. So everything has been open, so don't mind me. So that she wants to be a reporter. These are cool. Like I said, I did communication broadcasting art, so I got giddy over this. It looks like a notebook to you, but to me is memories. So they have a couple of these. So this box is going to be, I would say, two kiddos can comfortably share the stuff in here, and more so if they're willing to share. If not, yeah. If not, you know, you may need to have more, but I'll be interested in seeing if they all add in sibling option and add more elements. I don't know if that's going to be a possibility, but I think it will help big families. So you have these, and then the fun thing with this is that they included press passes. Okay, you guys know this is nostalgia for me. All right, so press pass media member, and these are like nice. It's not like a little plasticky thingy. These are super nice. All access press pass, and the lanyard itself says press access. I mean, like, dude, that is so cool. I love this aspect. Okay, all right, let's move on. Let's move on. All right, this is something herbal roots. If I'm not mistake, that is, yes, this is the one we've used in the past. So this, you're going to have like herbs and stuff that you saw in the guide. So if you get the activity box, you already have some of the supplies. So for example, here you have a supply list, a calendar to follow, information to go with that. And I haven't let, my kiddos have been dying to dig into all these things, and I haven't let them because I was like, I need some help. Don't do it. So you have all the stuff in here to do your you know, all these are like, it's kind of like getting a science kit, and you have all the stuff that you need right in here. And then in here, the electric circuit kit. Again, I already ripped in, and the symbols follows the same things as your adventure guide. You have this in here and all the pieces that you need to do that activity. And I'll show you where it has all the instructions of actually doing this stuff. Here is an embroidery kit, so it has a nice mixture of different activities. And this is so pretty. This is so pretty. Again, has everything, these little perfect little pouches. I just, you know, there's so much attention to detail in this whole curricula as a whole. Like, I'm super, super impressed. Got some dirt. Got some dirt. We have more in here. These are to label the, you know, all the herb goodies that you're gonna do. These are the, she even gets, you know, they included the pens for the reporter. There's an additional book. Now this book came in the box too. So this book was in the box. And then these, the jack tails are referred inside the book, certain tails, and they're flagged already for you. So you can, like, if your kiddo wants to know, like, okay, yeah, this story was, mentioned within the story, they can go right to the page, and she already even flagged it for you, so you can find each of the stories that it refers to. So I thought that was pretty cool. This is Jack Tales. I didn't have this one either. Then there is recipe cards, which you guys know kitchen schooling is all we about. And then there's a few of these, and there's QR codes to go along with it, and then you could just collect them. I love the way they did them. Yes, I'm purposely covering things. You guys gotta buy, okay, to see that. All right, so it has a chapter number, so where you can find where it's referenced. Love that. I love that. I love that, because I can't tell you how many times I've gotten recipe cards in activity boxes and stuff, and it never tells you where in the book was this recipe, and then you're trying to remember. I don't know. I think it's cool. All right, so chapter, how many people it serves, the serving size, and the prep time. And then you see ingredients, directions, and all that stuff. And again, it's going to have this. We already saw the electric circuit kit. So here's where you're going to find your guidance for that. And you have your instructions to complete that. And then here is, this all goes along with it. So this activity with the light up the schoolhouse thing. So my kiddos really want to do this. Again, I told them they couldn't touch anything until I filmed this. So they're, and my kiddos are older. Okay, so just to tell you, I had zero intentions of this being something that we were going to do. It was just something I was reviewing, and, you know, spending like, and when I do a review, I mean, like, I read everything cover to cover. Everything. So, like, you know, that's why I don't spit things out, like, you know, quickly. because I read everything cover to cover. I even test things out. I do all kinds of stuff. Then I like, if it's something that we're not actively using or going to use because it's outside our age range, then I make my kiddos try stuff out. And, because they're like, they're my little buddies. They're the company in the Arlene and Company. So this is the embroidery kit instructions, the beginner's guide to basic stitches, and then embroidery images and stuff that came into that. Anyway, so they helped me test out things and see like, what they thought. Like, and my daughter, for her volunteer hours, she's an assistant teacher at Hebrew school, and so she's like, oh yeah, the little kids will definitely love this, or they would that, so this is the herbal kit. So what we saw and with the other stuff, and then 3-part herbal instructions for the gardening journal. This one, I mean, like you can see, there is so much, and it's not like these activities that's just like, you're done in 5 minutes and that was it. These things can last you quite a while because the type of activities that you're doing, especially like, look, the gardening thing, that's gonna be a few weeks, right? If not longer. The self, that's something you can repeat again if you're like, okay, I want to do this. It's gonna last you a while. All right, so obviously this would have been on top. But yeah, and this tells you everything that's inside. So exclusive letter from the author, the stickers, where they're made from, and it also is an Appalachian native. I thought that was cool. Recipe card sock, the reporter, the mini herbal root sign, the grow kit, the salve, the Jack folk's tale. The itself is also pretty unique because the activities it includes cover so many different areas for several different type of learners. And I loved how they really point out the connections and they really bring the book to life. So that's all what it's about too. Ultimately, you're bringing the book to life and putting some deeper meaning and things like that. Can I fit everything back in? I don't know. Let's see. I suck at repacking stuff. I will let you know that I suck at repacking. Like I said before, I had zero intentions of using this for my kiddos because when I was presented with this, always for grades 3 to 5, and also partly why I don't do general reviews anymore, unless I have a family that I can pass something on to or whatever. But that being said, I went into the mindset that I had to digest all the little parts all by myself and then get my kiddos' input in certain elements and stuff like that, or even set stuff out, if they're willing and stuff. I don't make them do any of that because, that's not their job. When they were seeing stuff, they're like, wait, can't my daughter that's going into high school, my son that is going to be a rising 7th grader in a couple months, they were taken back by all the stuff. And they were like, well, yeah, we want to do it. And I think it's very easy to translate the adventure guide and stretch that out. If you have older learners, then I would add the language guide to it. The writing is broken down in certain pieces, opportunities. Well. Like, for example, this is new newspaper article step, poetry. You have brainstorming worksheet. This is not even the language guide. This is just your consumable. The leading sentence, your intro, your opening quote. They are going to be guided into breaking up the writing process. So that was my other concern. I was like, okay, this is all fun activities and stuff, but I want to make sure if this is being marketed as a unit study, is it instructional versus just worksheets? And there is a lot of instructional elements to it included, supported by video lessons as well. So that was thought of. So I was making notes, and then I would continue to answer my own questions as I dug in further. So I knew that those were some things that would be a concern for me, but I know that it would be concern for others. And there is instructional elements throughout. Will that be enough for every family? No, especially if you have disabled kiddos, there may be a very specific approach that you may need. Will they still get a lot out of this? I think so. Will it be right for every family? Nothing is, all right? But I do think that there's a lot in here that can be scaffolded, that can be built on, and that can be easily stretched if you also have older learners. And do know that there is some other units coming out that are meant for older kiddos. But I think it's very possible to stretch certain things and go beyond that. Like when you saw those newspaper things, instead of using the worksheet, have them just go ahead and use their notebook and give them the guidance of what it must include and stuff, and work on those research reports. So your level of expectations is what changes, where you can use the same prompt but make it more complex for your younger learner. Tag along as well, especially if you add those suggestions like the picture books and stuff like that. Will certain elements go over their head if they're too young for the material? Absolutely. But can you have enough activities for them to be doing while you're reading aloud? Of course. So you kind of have to view it as that as well. I do think that the things that have been accomplished with this study is pretty unique, and I love that they also included social and emotional, the scientific process. You have the picture study, you that are going throughout, that is part of this metaphor brainstorming. To congratulate them heart and the amount of work that they did, and that they didn't just spit something out just for to get some quick sales. There is intention, there is dedication, and every element has been carefully curated. Thank you so much to Ticket to Learning again for partnering with me with this video. I greatly appreciate, especially when a small business can look at another small business and see the value in each other and support each other, not only as homeschool families, women supporting women. I greatly appreciate that honesty here, no matter whether something's gifted to me or I purchased it myself. So I'm gonna give it to you how it is. So thank you so much for being here with me. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Let's help get the word out before its grand debut, and support our fellow homeschool moms. Leave me alone.